Welcome to Voice of Reason.
Privileged to have a retired officer in the military. I have with me this day retired Colonel Dr. YOMI. He's a security expert. Just as I said earlier, we're going to be looking at security on the program today at the regional level and at the national level. It's good to have you on the program, sir. A very good evening to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Anu.
Thank you. So let's go straight into it. What will you regard as the primary causes of the nation's security problems, and where were we as a nation when things degenerated this much?
Our problem, it's a common knowledge that right now we are faced with a hydra-headed security situation. There's insecurity across the spectrum of our society, from the north to the south, from the east to the west. We are faced with one security issue or the other. It's either banditry in the north, it's terrorist activities, insurgencies, kidnapping, in the north, central, northeast, in the south, east, southwest. So it has become a daily occurrence. Now, to address this issue, we find out that as we speak, the military is involved. As a matter of fact, all the security forces that we have, all the security agencies are involved. But addressing it squarely, I would say that there's been a lot of error in the approach to handling this crisis that we have at hand. First, the strategy, well, maybe a miscalculation from the political angle, and then that of the military too. But again, since we are in a democratic dispensation, so whatever the military whatever the political overlords bring forth, more or less everybody kowtow with that. So the political power, the political strategy, the political might in this respect, also gave the military a wrong kind of assumption, So there's an issue there. So, but I believe that there are ways out of it, and I'm sure they are finding a way out of it.
So are we fighting insecurity, which has become a monster in our national life, the right way?
I wouldn't say we are fighting it in the right way. I think we must evolve. The military has to evolve its strategy, new strategy, rather than wait until things happen. I think I will advocate or encourage a situation whereby we carry the battle to the enemy's doorstep. All right? And especially for the Southwest, we look at a way of combing the forests in the Southwest, wherever these hoodlums or kidnappers or bandits or insurgents are suspected to be operating from. And how do we also achieve that? There's need for a synergy between the security forces or security agencies, there must be timely dissemination of information. And there's also the need to encourage the citizenry to be aware. There must be some kind of everyone being their brother's keeper. When you see something, you say something. Like we say, security is everybody's business. It's not just the business of the security agencies or security forces or the police or the military alone. Because once it happens, everyone is involved, everyone is affected.
What preventive measures would you recommend? Security experts like you would say it's rather better when you are preventive security-wise rather than being reactive. So we are in it already. What preventive measures so that it will not escalate, because it seems to be escalating on a daily basis? What preventive measures do you think as a people and even as a government do you think we need to adopt?
Well, part of this we have already discussed now, even in the course of this brief discussion. Part of it we've touched on. It's something that has to be a continuous process. And like I said, there must be, say for instance, in each community, we must develop say at even the ward levels, starting from the ward levels, you have to develop, the vigilante group. You appoint, the local chief. You appoint village heads. You appoint town heads. You have appoint ward. These wards are like, so that you have a back-to-back approach, and then encouraging awareness, security consciousness, of the people being aware, such that if there's a strange happening within the community, such will be immediately reported. Will be reported to either the ward head or the street head, the community head, and then from there, such things, we get to the law enforcement agents, such that things are nipped in the bud before they escalate.
Okay.
And of course, again, there's need to, we haven't discussed that, but I've always advocated the situation whereby we have community policing, such that you have policemen within the community. If anything happens, if there are strange things happening, there are some strangers or some strange movements within the community, they report them. And I will not stop at that. Okay? I will also encourage a situation whereby the government try as much as possible to provide at least the basic infrastructures, the welfare of the citizenry, especially at the community level. Because you find out that some reports reaching us, you find out that some of these bandits, go to some communities. I don't think that's happening in the southwest, but especially in the northeast, where they go and then maybe make provision for the people what they are not even enjoying, from the government. Maybe they give them some inducements, and as such they win them over to themselves, So the government should make a conscious effort. The government, whether the local, state, and federal level, must make a conscious effort so that they can reach out and let the people have some kind of lease of life. All right? And that will ensure their loyalty. It happens even within your household. If you are not taking care, adequate or enough care, showing concern for your words enough, you cannot ensure, you cannot vouch for their loyalty. But when you try as much as possible to reach out to them, to take care of their needs, their basic needs especially, I mean, they will also in turn, be loyal to you.
Do you see any threat to the 2023 election when you look at happenings, security-wise across the country?
Once there's insecurity, then you cannot talk about safety. That is the situation being safe. Of course, what is happening, the insecurity situation in the country is a threat to democratic existence or governance. I'm talking about the election, of course. I think, we should be a lot concerned about the insecurity in the land. Because the insecurity that we're experiencing, it is a threat to any peaceful election taking place. Because some of these bandits, some of these insurgents might even be recruited. And come to think of it, if you even trace back the advent of the insurgency, it has to do with politicking. It has to do with politicking.
So what new strategies would you consider to be adopted to mitigate against electoral chaos?
First, for me, I think we need to be honest with ourselves. Because what we are seeing right now is money politics. With the highest bidders taking the day. If you ask me, I would rather a situation whereby we will stop what is called delegates and we do what we call direct primaries.
Really?
Oh yes. So that you look at the electorates eyeball to eyeball and let the electorates go out there. It's not just a question where a few individuals will say they are acting on behalf of the whole, and then they will be naming their price, and then they will go with the highest bidder. I mean, that's my personal opinion, and I think I'm entitled to it.
Well, what are the specific or peculiar security challenges in Yoruba land? Have you identified any? I mean, it's a national issue, a national phenomenon, but have you identified any security challenge that is peculiar to the Yoruba land?
I don't think there is a security challenge that is peculiar to the Southwest, because I look at the nation as an entity, and I think except that Southwest is Yoruba, Northeast Hausa predominantly, East is Igbo, or Southeast is Igbo, except for that. But all the security incidents, it's like the same. It's like the same because we have incidents of banditry, we have incidents of kidnapping, armed robbery, killing. That's it.
So how can the people of the Southwest be better protected?
Well, I recall that the leaders of the Southwest came together and initiated this idea of having their own security or protective security force, which they christened Amotekun, and that cuts across the southwest. So I think it's a step in the right direction. What I think should be done is, the Amotekun should be strengthened in the circumstance, because if it has to do with security, no amount of security is too much. No amount of security. So there are levels of security. But at least the idea of the Amotekun, I think, is a good step in the right direction. So this needs to step up and strengthen this body, this organization, such that they will be, protected and insulated from unnecessary vagaries and attacks to their person and their families.
Okay.
And of course, I'm sure the various state houses of assembly should, further create laws that will protect them.
Do you agree that a centralized police force, as presently obtained in Nigeria, can truly address the nation's security challenges? We run a centralized police system. Some persons have advocated that it should be decentralized, such that at least states will wield some influence. You get to hear a state governor saying, "Oh, on paper, I'm the chief security officer of my state, but I can't give the police commissioner in my state orders." Some will dismiss that as, cheap blackmail coming from the governors. But a centralized system of, policing that we run, is it one you want the country to devolve or decentralized, or should we maintain it?
That's a very good and interesting question. Yes, what we have right now is a centralized force. I think it's high time that we have a decentralized police force. Because part of the problem that we are experiencing right now is because of the centralized nature of our police force, of our policing. The centralized police force is not equipped enough to confront the insecurity challenges confronting this country. So I believe that the way to go is to decentralize. It's either we go regional, if we choose to go, if we choose to restructure into region, or we go by state. It is a fact, just like the scenario that you painted. Yes, most state governors, they call them chief security officers of their states, but chief security officer on paper. You've had it in the past how some state commissioner of police and governors, short of going fisticuff with each other, exchanging words and all sorts of stories, all sorts of manner of things happening. And I've said it a couple of times that what is the problem? People will say that, oh, if you allow the governor to be in charge of the police, he will just pocket them and start to do whatever he likes. And I always say that, no. It's funny. It's an irony. When you say someone is a chief security officer of the state, He can't even summon the police commissioner. The police commissioner, if he wants to be, after getting orders from the central, from the top, to go the other way, and if the governor calls him and say go this way, at best, if he wants to be diplomatic, he probably will tell the governor that he has been asked to report to Abuja. I'm so sorry. I'll get back or whatever. Yeah. So I believe that it will go a long way in helping solve our security challenges if we have either state police or regional police, if the structure, because of course, we're talking about restructuring. And then we've come to think of it. We've had regional police before. Back in the system, we've had regional police before. That's why we're looking at the possibility of restructuring. When you restructure, it doesn't mean that you want to break the country into fragments. No. But it's to have a holistic look at the structure. And you know where to realign and reorientate.
Okay, lastly, before I let you go, the Supreme Court in the United States just affirmed the right of individuals to bear arms just yesterday. And we are locked in this debate in Nigeria as to whether Nigerians should be allowed to, bear arms for self-defense. It's a tricky one, but it takes someone like you to help make a sense out of it. On which divide would you perch on these citizens, Nigerians bearing arms for self-defense and, still keeping the structure of you having to reach the police even at the expense of your life and all that? What would your recommendation be?
Well, it's a very tricky one. As a retired military officer, haven't kept arms or used arms for decades before leaving the service. You don't sometimes want to find yourself in a situation where you are bearing arms. That's one. But again, you are looking at protection of life, your life. You're looking at protection of the lives of your family members. You are looking at the protection of your property so that you are not dispossessed of your property unjustly. Then you now think that, at least let me protect my household, let me protect my family, then you probably want to bear arms. But in reality, all these hoodlums that you see, all these insurgents, these bandits, these terrorists, the kind of arms they bear, they are automatic weapons. How do you match that? As an individual, even if you go get the license to bear arms, you have to put in a license that you want it for gaming. Whether the game is a live animal, human being, is a different ballgame. But it's for gaming. But this day and age, the insurgents, they have automatic weapons. What do you mean by automatic? Automatic weapon is a weapon that maybe you load your magazine and your magazine carries about 20, 25, 30 rounds. And then you just press your trigger and then you can release 5 to 10 shots within seconds, as against your rifle that you are aiming. Don't you understand? With an automatic weapon, you don't even need to aim. It just spreads. And aside that, some of these bandits, some of these insurgents, they even use explosives. Is it? And it's not a conventional war that we have at hand. It's not a conventional war. It's insurgency. It's a terrorist type of action where there are no defined boundaries. Even the targets, the enemy, you are not even sure. Somebody could just be sitting next to you. You don't even know he's an enemy. It's only by the time he or she just drops the bag down and then what you hear pop. You start wondering, this person we were sitting together in the last 1 hour. So these are the kind of situation we have at hand. So our society, to my mind, is not ripe enough for such. It's not. To be able to bear arms, to be able to use arms, you even need some level of education, training. I've had some close friends say, yes, maybe at the end of the day, we don't pray that our situation should continue to deteriorate. We pray that our situation should, evolve and get better. It's
a no-no.
It's a no-no.
It's been interesting talking to you, Father. Thank you so much for your time on the program. It's just been fantastic talking to you. I hope we'll be back some other time to have this kind of a session with you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Anu.
All right, this is what we're going to call it a wrap. Join us next time on the program. Courtesy Voice of Reason VOR. I remain Anu Wapo. See you next time.